Mythical heroes stand apart from ordinary humans through their divine or supernatural origins and extraordinary abilities, often granted by gods or fate. Their lives are marked with epic journeys and quests, reflecting their unique destinies to accomplish feats beyond the reach of mere mortals. Mythical heroes bear the responsibility of using their extraordinary abilities to confront and overcome immense challenges, often to protect or serve their people, restore balance, or fulfill a divine destiny. Their actions are crucial in maintaining the harmony between the mortal world and the cosmic or divine order. This video will be dedicated to the birth of the most epic and legendary South Slavic hero, Prince Marko, known variously as Marko Kraljević, Krale Marko, Kralj Marko, and so forth. But before we continue, I would like to express my gratitude to all my honorary patrons who support this channel and my personal work with their generosity and enthusiasm. It is your contributions that make it possible for me to continue researching, interpreting, and sharing these fascinating stories with a wider audience. So thank you very much. Though Marko was a real historical figure, the epic poetry and folk songs do not recount his actual deeds and events. Instead, they portray him as a mythical hero performing incredible feats. This is because Marko as a historical figure was simply integrated into the pre-Christian mythical context of these songs, which were adapted to fit the time and circumstances of the people. For example, in these adaptations, the chthonic three-headed dragon dwelling in the caverns was replaced by a three-headed Turk or Arab. Similarly, the heroes and deities who battled these creatures were substituted by knights, princes, kings, and even saints, that is to say, real historical figures who fought against the foreign invaders. Thus, the figure of Marko Kraljević transcends his historical reality, becoming a symbolic representation of the eternal struggle between order and chaos. In many instances, he substitutes for pagan Slavic heroes and deities, and very often taking the place of Perun himself. These songs were an integral part of the oral tradition preserved by local poets who were the Slavic equivalents of bards. I explained this in another video called Forgotten Slavic Bardic Instruments. These songs often represent mythological narratives passed down from pre-Christian Slavic times and align with the broader tradition of Indo-European epic poetry. Originally, our myths were preserved and transmitted as poems, evolving with the changing circumstances as various tribes branched off and new cultures formed, yet always maintaining the same mythical core. This continuity is why we find such archaic elements in South Slavic folk poems and epic poetry. The birth of Prince Marko. The hunt was held by King Vukašin. The hunt went on for 3 bright days. When the 4th dawn arrived, the king sat on a cold cliff. Next to the cliff, his spear struck, tied his horse to the spear, then he talked to his horse. "Oh, unfortunate King Vukašin, I can't even see a bird, let alone catch one today. I hunger and thirst and starve." But a fairy spoke to the king. Wise you are, King Vukashin, wise you are, but you speak foolishly. Below you is a green lake, by the lake is the fairy Mandalina. She will tell you how to hunt, but she demands a heavy price, the hands and muscles of a hero. When King Vukashin heard this, he mounted his good horse and went through the green forest. Good fortune led him. In the green forest by the lake is the fairy Mandalina. But the fairy was tricked by a dream. King Vukashin approached her quietly, stole her crown and shirt, and went to his white palace. When the fairy woke up from her dream, she looked sad and angry, for she had no crown or shirt. The fairy flew through the green forest, met King Vukashin and quietly spoke to the king. "Give me, king, my crown and shirt, and I will make you blessed." King Vukashin replied, "I will not accept any gift unless you will be my beloved." The sad fairy looked angry and followed him to his white palace, where she wedded King Vukashin. She bore him 2 sons. The first was Prince Marco, and the second was weak Andrew. The story of Prince Marco's birth closely resembles that of Achilles, both being great and renowned heroes. Marco is born from the union of the mortal king Vukashin and the lake nymph, whereas Achilles is born from the mortal Peleus and the sea nymph Thetis. Just like Vukashin, Peleus found Thetis near the seashore or in a secluded place where she was known to frequent. He approached her silently, and as he tried to seize her, Thetis transformed into various forms to escape, but eventually gave in and became his wife. Although it is clear that Marco's father is a mortal king, like Peleus, we can still explore the possibility that there is a hidden mythological context behind him as well. In Slavic languages, the term bel, meaning white, often denotes bright light or the illuminated world we inhabit. This association is evident in the word svet, which means both light and world, and is often paired with bel to convey white world or bright world, symbolizing the realm of light. Furthermore, bel, meaning white or bright, serves as an epithet of God, who is commonly linked with the sky. Therefore, when considering the white palace inhabited by the king in this song, it immediately evokes the mythical image of a sovereign of the world residing in the sky. Even if we refrain from directly associating the king with a particular deity, it remains evident that the king is closely linked to rulership and the realm of light. The king leaves his white palace and embarks on a hunting expedition in a forest that spans 3 days. The mythical image of a forest often represents the unknown, a place of mystery, transformation, and spiritual journey. This is emphasized by his hunger and thirst, a metaphor for spiritual longing. Yet, despite his efforts, he remains unsuccessful in capturing any prey. This futile pursuit amid starvation and thirst symbolizes the human condition, where even our most ardent efforts can sometimes yield no tangible results, leaving us feeling depleted and unfulfilled. After 3 days of thirst and starvation, the king sits on a cliff in reflection and contemplation. There he encounters a supernatural aid in the form of a fairy, who offers him guidance and insight on how to achieve a successful hunt. She informs him of another fairy, residing near a lake in a realm below, who possesses the knowledge he seeks. This realm the king descends into signifies the chthonic realm, the underworld, or in modern psychological terms, the subconscious mind, where concealed wisdom resides. This motif is particularly evident in other songs where the hero actually drinks from the lake guarded by the fairy. Yet, like all journeys into the unknown, accessing such enlightenment comes at a price. The fairy's demand for a sacrifice highlights the notion that deep understanding often demands individuals to give up something precious in return for insight. In this case, it is the hero's arms and muscles, without which he would lose his power. Here the king's cunning comes into play, and instead of complying with her demands, he resorts to trickery to gain control over her. The symbols of her power and authority over the chthonic realm are the shirt and particularly the crown, which not only elevates her above the status of a mere fairy or nymph, but also position her as the foremost among all nymphs, akin to a queen and perhaps even a goddess. Given that fairies in Slavic folklore are often associated with the Mother Earth, it is highly likely to discern her presence behind this fairy. The merging of opposites, such as man and woman, which gives rise to life, isn't sufficient for the birth of a legendary hero like Marco. Here the poem elevates this union to a higher plane, the marriage of a mortal king with a supernatural being. However, on a deeper level, it is possible to recognize the union of the Sky King with the Earth Queen, a divine marriage from which a legendary hero is born. Within man, it symbolizes the integration of opposing forces or realms, the conscious and subconscious, or spiritual and earthly aspects of existence. The hero's descent represents a journey into the depths of the psyche or the unknown, where hidden wisdom and transformation await, leading to the hero's attainment of higher knowledge or enlightenment, as well as the cyclical nature of life and death. This traditional song serves as an introduction to a series of songs that I will cover in future videos. It was initially the opening song for my book Songs and Legends of Kraljević Marko, which covered many of his myths in detail and uncovered their meanings. However, as I continue to improve my English, my interpretations and artistic skills, I have decided to unpublish this old book and reinterpret and re-illustrate the myths of this hero in a future book. While working on this project, I will also share some of my work with you through videos. If you want to gain insight into the projects I'm working on, access exclusive content and learn more, consider supporting the channel on Patreon. Additionally, if you're interested in delving deeper into Slavic mythology, consider checking out my books available on Amazon. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.